screen?
Yes, sir. You are recording, sir.
I'm recording it, yeah. You're able to see my
Yes, sir.
screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Vishnu, you're able to hear us properly today?
Yes, sir.
Very good. How about others?
Sir, we are able to hear you, but we are not able to see your PPT.
Why? So Vishnu, you cannot see? Nobody's able to see?
Yes, sir. I can't also.
How about now? Can you see now?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
You said you're able to see. Now, how about now? Can you see the screen? No, it's like
Sir, I think you need to share the screen.
yes. I'm sharing it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we are able to see.
Now it's visible.
You can see now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, is visible.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's go. So this is the agenda. So we'll talk about the what is the SOC, some examples, the design flows. Yeah, this is basically how, right? I was playing the first class. You had asked the basic questions: how, what, when, where, right? So this is exactly structured in the same way, right? So ask the basic questions, you'll get the answers. Right? I think yesterday we went up to the first 3 or 4 bullets, so we'll still cover the same. And yeah, please feel free to ask any questions what you have. So what is SOC? So SOC full form is what? System on a chip, right? So what is a system? So I'll ask the same questions as yesterday. What is a system? Give me example for a system. Give me example for a chip. And then
It's
example
a
for
set of
system.
components to do a task.
Hello?
It's a set of components designed to do some decided tasks.
Yeah, give me some example, no?
Signal generator.
No, no, no.
It's
No, 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 not correct. System is something, no, which is it integrates everything. It will have typically it'll have a processor, it will have memories, right? It will have analog, it will have a digital, it will have a RF.
then a computer.
Yeah, and that is a system, right? It is your computer, your mobile phone, they're example for a system.
Yes, sir.
Okay, correct.
Yes, sir.
So
How do you
chip
know?
is a chip. Anything is a chip, right? For example, your 74LS04, 74LS00, they're all chips. Chips is integrated circuit, basically. That's what we call chip. Not the chip which you eat. Potato chips is not the chip. That's separate, right? So this chip is recorded. I don't know why it is called a chip, man. Integrated chip. I think you should go Google and find out. Why is it called a chips? Chip. Right? I don't know. Right. There should be some way. So SO is called as a SO, system on a chip. So entire system comes on a chip. So that's what it's called, system on a chip. Okay. So it's an integrated circuit. It integrates all the components like an electronic system in a single chip, right? That's what the description says. Okay, so yeah, its examples are basically a micro smartphone, a wearable chip, wearables like watch or any other device, right? So that's an example, right? So sound detecting device. Yesterday we talked about mic and we talked about the, I think I told about the Alexa kind of devices also, right? So they are examples for yeah, the sound detecting devices, right? So that's some example. So that's one SOC. And anything can be example. Like you can have any number of examples for SOC, right? So you can look at automobile, there are SOCs. In the cars, I told there are SOCs, right? So any application you name, it will have, you can have SOCs these days, right? It's up to your imagination, right? And typically they design chips when there is a volume. You cannot say, oh, I want to sell one part per year. No, then it's not worth designing a chip, right? So do you know why is it so? Why you cannot design a chip if your volumes are less? Anyone? Ishwar? No idea.
So I can't understand the question.
If the volumes are less, volume is you have to sell. Let's say you are selling a something you are designing. It's a new product you are designing, right? You want to sell in the market. So how do you decide whether you can make a chip or some other solution?
Voice is breaking.
Now, how do you decide? Let's say it should be viable. Let's say you are designing a product. Let's say water purifier chip. You are designing something to pure the water, or some any chip for agriculture applications. Anything you're designing a chip, right? So how will you decide? You can design SOC for that, or you use some other discrete components and make the system. Right? Demand is one thing. It's not what's called volume. Volume is how many pieces, how many products will sell per year or per month or in a lifetime, right? So that's what we call volume. Right? How much quantity call, right? So if it is only few, it is only hundreds, you cannot decide. It will become very expensive. Right? So chips are typically you have to manufacture in a high volume, large quantities, then it will become cheaper, right? Because there's something called I think I have an example. There's some term called non-recurring engineering cost. You can remember or you can write down. You'll see it later on. Non-recurring engineering. It's called NRE. Not very popular term. So please take notes. Right? NRE is a very important thing, right? People will ask what is just say NRE, NRE. What is that? Non-recurring engineering. That's one-time cost, basically. Right? Non-recurring. One time you have to pay some money to fabrication unit to set up the wafers and set up the process. Okay, so that adds a lot of large portion. So if your volume number of quantity is less, then your NRE will be huge. So you are selling some million parts, your NRE will be a kind of lesser proportion basically to that. Agree? Should I repeat?
Yes, uncle, please. Just
Yeah.
now I can.
Yeah, I'll repeat. Right. So there's something called NRE, non-recurring engineering cost.
Okay.
So it's basically one-time charges you have to pay to the fabrication house. That they have to set up the wafer, they have to set up all the packaging. There's so many other things involved, right? There's a hidden cost and what you call, right? So that's one-time charges. That's be so huge. If you are making only 100 chips in a year or in a lifetime, whatever, right? Then the NRE cost is maybe 90% of the overall cost. But if you are working on 1 million or 500,000 chips, your NRE cost will probably come to 10% or 5% of the overall cost. Correct?
Yes, uncle.
Agree or not?
Yes, uncle.
Did you follow? Does everyone follow what I said?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know what example I can give for this. What do you think? I don't know what I'm going to think some example. Yeah, it's something similar to this, man. Let's say you have some people coming in your house. You have only one guest coming in your house. Let's say you don't have enough rice at home. Will you go and buy a bag of rice of 20 kg or will you go and buy a 1 kg of rice? If only one person is coming, you don't have your rice truck is over in the home. You will not buy a bag of rice, right? You will buy only 1 kg of rice rather, right? Right. So if there are 50 people coming for dinner or something, then probably you'll go and buy one bag of rice. Correct? Agree?
Yes, uncle.
So that is the closest example I can think of. So if you buy one bag of rice just for one person, it's a huge cost for you, right? If there are 50, 100 people are coming, then probably the cost is evening out. Okay. So that is the closest example I can think. So that's why the chip fabrication is very, very expensive. Probably I have a slide for that later on, but since I'm talking about it, so just thought you should write down and remember this point called NRE. NRE. Okay. Clear? So we can write it somewhere here. Okay, right? So N R E. Clear?
Okay.
So it's called non-recurring engineering cost. Okay. So let's go further. Right, and your system refers to both hardware and software. Remember that, right? So it's not just hardware. So that's what I'm telling. When you do any prototype, you have to learn how to write software also, small pieces of code. The software is something that will program the registers. I'll tell you, like if somebody had studied microprocessor and peripherals, they will understand. I think the SVC guys and Pavan also will understand. right? The Wales guys will, when you go through systems, you'll understand about microprocessor. There are some certain registers which the processor will come and program, right? Is that how you program the behavior, right? It's like your brain cells or your brain has, brain is like a processor, but you have to go and give instruction to various parts of the body, do this, do this, do this. So how do you give instruction to various parts of the body? Through by programming, by listening instructions, right? So so peripherals are like various parts of the body, and brain is a processor, right? So it will go and give instructions. How by programming the registers. It's something called registers. You go and write to those registers saying what action to be performed. Then the activity that will trigger the activity, right? So software has to come and program the registers. It will look for the interrupt. Then it will come and read the status registers to find if the certain operation has been performed or not, and what is the status. Correct. So that is typically software. So you have to know both hardware and software. Then only you can design systems. Okay.
Okay.
So analog. These are examples of system, right? For analog, ADC, DAC, PLL. I think yesterday I talked about all the PLL and everything. What is a PLL? Somebody need to tell. Can tell.
Phase lock
Phase
loop,
lock
sir.
loop, uncle.
Phase log loop. Okay. So what is the phase log loop? Okay. So how it generates the clock?
Yes. It locks a face.
Logs are correct, man. But I told you how does it work? What are the various other things you need? What is the input to the PLL?
Pulse.
Not pulse. It takes a reference clock, low frequency reference clock. It takes so a few megahertz, 19 megahertz or something, right? So from the crystal you generate a low speed clock and give it to PLL. From PLL you generate a high speed clock. You program the PLL of what is the frequency you need and everything. Then you will generate that particular clock. Correct?
Yes, uncle.
Did I tell that yesterday?
Yes, uncle.
Hello.
Yes, uncle. But I
Yeah.
forgot it.
Yeah. So write
Yes,
those
sir.
notes. So you should be able to answer, man. Yesterday only you learned, not in 1 month before. So these things you should remember for rest of the life. So these are concepts are very important, right? So please do some homework
uncle.
also, and at least revise the notes. That's why you write the notes. I think none of it is a serious, man. If you don't do like this, it will be waste actually all our efforts. So please be serious and attentive and just follow all the instructions what I got to give, right? Definitely you'll become very successful if you do that. If you keep like whatever I tell you yesterday, today if you forget, then I don't know. So please kindly take this very seriously,
Sure, uncle.
right? Because we are not doing it for fun, correct? Just because you have spare time, no, you don't come and learn VLSA, right? You want to become successful, you want to build a career, that's why you are learning this, correct?
Yes, uncle.
So write notes, get it organized, put it in the time. Today morning you checked in the Google Drive, there is not a single notes. So we did 2 sessions already, right? I checked in the early morning, but now I don't know. Please put your notes there. It's important for me to know that what you understand, what you don't understand, right? So that's why I told difference between training and teaching, correct? So that feedback is very, very important. I don't want to go on teaching something if you don't understand anything. So all of us should go in the same pace. So it's a responsibility of the who's giving the training to make sure that everyone is in the same pace, everyone understands it. Otherwise, we'll be going very slow. We have to take more classes otherwise. It's up to you all. You all need to tell what you want, right? Are you all serious about learning?
Yes, uncle.
Yes, sir.
I want to hear from everyone. Like, I hope everyone is there in this meeting. Probably I call him Girish,
Yes, uncle.
Raja,
Yes, uncle.
who else? Rakesh.
Rakesh is not there,
Rakesh
uncle.
is not there. Sriram,
No, uncle.
Pavan.
Sir, I have created the notes and I will post after this meeting.
Very good. Excellent. I think if 1% start doing, then everyone start following. But it's the first person to that's no, what do you call resistance, right? Inhibition, whatever you call. So that has to go, right? So let it be wrong. You are learning, right? You are learning bicycle. You will obviously fall down. Nobody is going to laugh at you, right? It's okay. Right? If we go and do all these things, if you go and tell in an interview, people will be very impressed, man. Just believe me. If you- that's how you get into companies, the big companies. You want to go into Qualcomm and Intel, right? Then you have to follow all these small good practices, right? So these are very small tips like how to be better organized, how to be more efficient, right? See, reading and learning is not one thing. You have to organize yourself. You have to be efficient. You have to be different from others. I told you, right? The fish. You have to be very different from others. If you want to get a good job and you have to sustain it, right? So Please follow all these things. I don't mind explaining 10 times, 20 times, man, but you have to tell me what you understand, what you don't understand. Okay. So should I explain what is PLL again? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Probably next class I'll ask what is PLL again. Okay, RF is radio frequency. I told you, right? So it's basically this like the air interface for the modem or Bluetooth or whatever, right? So typically that was outside the chip in the system previously. Now all the RF is coming integrated into the chip itself. If you take all the phones, it will have the RF radio frequency interface. So it's a high speed interface. Somebody said 15 gigahertz range, right? 4 gigahertz or 12 gigahertz, whatever, right? So if you go and if you look at access point, it will have RF integrated. All you have Wi-Fi routers at the home, most of you at least, right? So they'll have RF integrated, 5 gigahertz router or I don't know what other gigahertz. I think it shows 2 gigahertz and 2.1 and 5 gigahertz, I suppose, right? Right, sure you have seen when you connect the access point, it will show 5G and 2.1G something will
Yes,
show.
sir. 2.4 and
4 and 5, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they're all basically they're all like radio frequency bands. So you can select, so you can go to 5 gigahertz band, probably you get a better performance. Right? So go to Wikipedia, man. Understand that given links, so you have to do all this homework. Wikipedia is your most friendliest neighborhood person, right? Go to Wikipedia and search for all the terms. Right? That's how I learn, right? Look at ADC. Whatever terms you are not clear, go to Wikipedia and learn. And probably we can create our own Wikipedia if you want like more terms and more things. We can go and create it and we can add that, or we can create our own blogging or something. Is a blogging? Somebody knows how to blog? Somebody's good in blogging? No?
No, uncle.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, probably you should pick up that skill. If somebody is good in writing stories or poems, movie reviews,
No.
restaurant reviews. You should do, man. They're good hobbies. You go and eat in so many places, you should come and write. Like, no, then other people will find it you something is like, or some hotels are good, some restaurants are good, some food is terrible there, right? Then you should write a few lines about it and blog it. It becomes a good history. So you should do that. It's a good, funny, like how people use diaries. In older days, they use diaries and keep it very personal, right? Nowadays, everything become public. So you don't have to write your personal stories in the blog, but that is right. What can it's very easy to do that. So many blogs are available, right? So try creating a blog for yourself. You write about. I keep telling Ishwar and my daughter also, right? You see cricket match, you write a review. That's how you develop in English, right? You do whatever you like. You don't have to do it. So don't start with electronics right away. Because if you match, if let's say you watch a football match late in the night, what match happened yesterday?
Multiple matches yesterday.
Okay. So you should write 10 lines about it. What you like, what you didn't like. Obviously, if you talk to a friend, you'll tell, right? Oh, this man should have done that. Oh, this goalkeeper didn't defend properly. This guy was not doing. He did a foul. You'll have some comments, right? You talk each other like that. You write it the same way in the blog, right? You become very popular after some time, right? So it will be very interesting. That's how you develop your English and everything. You keep writing, right? Whatever you like, you do it. You like sports, you do that. If you like eating out, you write about restaurants. If you write like in poems, you write poems and put it there. Kavidai or whatever it is, right? Whatever is your hobby, right? You use that. That's how you record. And after a few years, you go and see, you'll find it very interesting. After 4 years and 5 years. It's very similar to Facebook. Facebook, it become lost, become very difficult to search also, right? People put it in Facebook or Insta, but it'll get lost. So blog is well organized and becomes easier to trace. So we can generate our own blog also for this team, like various things in VLSI. I can organize. We have a lot of books, a lot of reading material and everything, right? I'll keep sending time to time the email or whatever, right? So if we can organize, it becomes useful not only for you, but the entire world will be useful. There are a lot of such blogs and a lot of such websites. You start with the blog, and like somebody good with probably I can put money and create a website, then you can start maintaining the website itself. Right? So what is who is interested, try. Create a simple blog and put, don't put personal details and all that, but try whatever you think you can share in the to the rest of the world, you keep putting there. It's very interesting. You'll make a lot of virtual friends in that way, actually, right? For example, I used to write. I'm not a blogging, but there are some bulletin boards out there. Whenever I used to go to like classical concerts and all that, I used to write reviews many years before. I told you in one of the first meetings. I used to write reviews and post it, and like I got a lot of friends and and like that. Right? But now I'm not doing it. I'm not finding time and So a few years back, I used to do that, right? So that's how you develop contacts, you develop your hobbies and everything, right? So try and do similar to that. It'll be interesting. So you just do for whatever is interest you do to that. Don't do for all the topics,
Okay.
right? So try it out and let me know how it goes, right? I can help you definitely if you want any help. So it's very powerful blogging. Okay. So analog and digital, you all know what is the processor, what is the interface. So what is the example for interface? I think yesterday we spoke about SPI, UART,
USB.
memory, USB, right? So those kind of things are interfaces, right? Accelerator, I told you, right? Something you want to run fast, you put it in the hardware. There's some algorithms. I told you what is algorithm yesterday. What is algorithm? Forgot.
Sequence of steps.
Very good. Very good.
A
Man.
series of steps to perform a task.
Right, right. Yeah, this is like, well, I'll give you an example, man. I think you all know Sunil Gavaskar, right? Right. So when like in
Yes,
our
uncle.
times he was a greatest batsman, and not like Sachin. He was like Sachin, right? When you are like you kids in the college and schools, so you are all fans of Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev, right? So he has such a cricketing brain, right? When he was playing, he knows one bowler always bowls fifth ball. I think Courtney Walsh, I suppose. Fifth ball of the over is going to be a slow ball. Right? So he somehow found out that he was preparing. That's algorithm actually, right? He somehow read the bowler's mind. Every over fifth ball will be a slow ball. Right? It's a poor planning from the bowler actually, unpredictable. But this guy quickly found out and started adapting, right? He told in an interview, I read it somewhere. Thought you should be able to do a Google search and find out, you'll find the story. Right? Very interesting, right? So that's the example for algorithm, right? Some sequence of steps. So I told about bubble sort, quick sort and all, right? So it's like that. Right, so storage, you all know what is the SRAM. DRAM probably I will tell you later on. ROM, you all know, right? Flash, we'll talk about it later. Software, I told about RTOS, real-time operating systems, right? Your Android is real-time operating system, right? It works in real time, right? So there are a lot of examples out there, right? There's something called a device driver. So device driver is a piece of software which will come and program the registers. It works at lowermost level with the hardware. So that's called device driver. Okay, you have to remember the term. If you have any friends in computer science group, you can go and ask what is the device driver. So just check with them, right? They understand it or not, right? So this is the closest you will get it. The first piece of software which talks to the hardware is called device driver. Application software is the highest most level. Operating systems, application software, everything come on top of it finally, right? So these are examples for software. Questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I want one of you to talk about this, man, today. So who can talk about this? Whatever you know, it's okay. If you make mistakes, I'll correct it. So who wants to go? Ishwar? No? Let's ask Pavan. Pavan, you'll be able to talk about this?
Regarding
No, tell whatever you know about this. What is the processor? What is the ARM? What is JTAG? What is bus? What is peripherals? What is all these components? What are the various boxes in this? Whatever you understand, no? It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. I'll help.
sir, have you changed the slide, sir?
I changed, no? I want an SOC example slide. Not able to see?
No, sir. I mean, I am able to see what is SOC. System refers to hardware and software. That is what I.
No, that's an old slide. I went to the next slide. If you have the PDF, you download the PDF, you probably can open that and see also.
Yes, sir. I will open it.
Yeah, opened it, go to that SOC example slide. What is the third slide or something?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So tell whatever anyone, whoever wants to, at least one block, right? Yesterday I told you all should pick up one block and write a few 10 lines of 10 bullets about it, right? Or I told write 10 lines about it, correct? So you should do that. That's how you learn. What is the processor? Who wants to talk about? What is the ARM? What does ARM mean? Look at your notes and tell, man.
ARM is a company, sir.
Company, very good.
So it the processor which is being made by the company, they named it as ARM processor.
Wow.
So it is a.
Yeah.
I forgot the abbreviation of ARM,
Okay.
but the ARM processor will collect the data from the memory and from the interfaces, everything. So based upon that, it will perform the task
No, you are talking very general. See, that is a
Yes.
CPU, right? Any CPU will work the same way. So
Yes,
we have
sir.
to understand how the ARM process different from your CPU, Intel CPUs or whatever the CPUs, right? So it's
Yes,
a
sir.
RISC processor. First of all, you should know what is a RISC processor,
Yes, sir.
right? The RISC is a reduced instruction set computer, right? So it takes lesser memory.
Yes, sir.
Reduced instruction set computer, right? It has less number of instructions set, and so it will be more efficient in that way, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's a RISC. So ARM is a RISC processor, right? It will be used for embedded applications. You cannot use Intel processor in a embedded application. It's not meant for it. Can you use 8085 instead of that? It'll be very it's become very ugly and clumsy. You can use it, but it's not meant for that application, right? That's for a separate system level application. It's not for the embedded application. You know what is embedded, right? Whatever you put inside the chip, like SOC kind of thing, right? It's called embedded, correct? You've all heard about embedded software, right? No? So
I
embedded software is a piece of software which runs inside this kind of ARM controller kind of a thing.
yes,
Right? So because it's a RISC processor, it sits inside the SoC. It is
yes,
not a hard like 8085. You cannot get a chip for ARM. It's only soft core, right?
yes,
It's a Verilog code. ARM core is a Verilog code. It's not a packaged chip like 8085. 8085 can go to shop and buy 8085. Correct. So ARM you cannot buy from the shop. You get only RTL code or Verilog code rather. Right. So there is another difference. So what is JTAG? JTAG scan. Remember? Very good. Excellent. It's used for testing purpose. Scanning is what is scanning? Because you are ultrasound scan. Right? Scan you go on what is in English? What is meant by scan?
To check something.
You check something. You scan your brain. You scan your stomach or what intestine, whatever. Right? So you scan something. You scan all the registers here, or you scan all the IOs. You scan the system, whatever. Right? So that's a serial interface to scan the registers or scan something. So there's this IEEE standard. They call it as JTAG. What there will be some expansion maybe that I do not know what is JTAG. We can find it out from Google. Right. System controller components. I think I told you to do your own way. You can search and find out. You all know what is the I think I told what is interrupt controller, what is a power manager, what is interrupt controller? No, not response. Not that, no response. That's a watchdog, right? Interrupt control is the one, like, when you complete a certain task, you go and tell. Let's say I ask you to study a chapter and come back and report to me. You, after studying that one chapter, you come and tell me, right, I've studied. So that is an interrupt. I'm doing something else. I'm doing my work, I'm watching movie, but you're studying. After you finish your study, you come and tell, like, I've finished this. So I'm doing some other task, but when you tell something, I'll go and listen to you, right? So that is an interrupt. But if you don't listen, you'll shout more. So that is like a high priority interrupt then, right? So interrupt that's an interrupt. In English, you can look at what is an interrupt, same meaning, right? So power management control. I told what is the low power. I told what is the power management study. Right? Remember, so it manages the power. It controls various voltages. It controls various clocks. It manages the power, right? PLL we discussed. Oscillator we know, right? Oscillator we have to connect to the PLL to give the reference clock. Right? RC oscillator is very similar to other oscillator. Reset controller will generate all the resets, power on reset, another system reset, and other resets, whatever the components need. The reset controller will generate that. Right? And power on reset, I think I told you what is power on. So the first reset, when you apply when the chip powers on, is called power on reset. We'll talk in detail in the later in this chapter. A timer, watchdog. I think I gave some example of watchdog, right? Yesterday, right? You will all remember timer. A debugger, I told you what a debugger is. It's something you have to debug. How does it work? You want to collect some data about system performance or anything, right? When system doesn't work, you have to collect data, you have to find out where is the issue. So use the debugger for that, debug controller for that, right? What is the AHB, APB, and ASB written there? Do you know? What are these things? Anyone? What is this? It's called bus interface, correct? What is a bus?
Used for transportation purposes. Carries.
It carries the data and control, right? It carries packets or data and control. It carries information. That is a bus. It can be 8-bit, it can be 16, it can be 32-bit, it can be 64-bit, it can be 128-bit, it can be 256-bit, based on how much data you have to carry, how fast you have to carry, right? See, this concept is very simple, man. It's like about bandwidth and throughput, right? So you want to run something at 100 megahertz. I'll give you a simple example, right? You have to get 100 megahertz processing power. You have to, that means 100 becomes 100 bits per second, right? What is 100 megahertz? Maybe I'll work out something and tell. I'm getting poor in math. I'm getting old. Who is have a shorter brain, they can work it out, right? So in 100 megahertz, so means what? How many bits? Let's say you have one bit bus. How many bits you can transfer? So let's work it out. It's very simple. Concept is this: that if you have a 8-bit bus, you are running at a certain speed, you'll get certain data throughput you'll get, right? Let's say you want higher speed, higher data transfer. Either you can increase the clock speed, or you increase the data bus by double, right? Then your throughput becomes double. You can transfer twice the data. Agreed or not? Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, does everyone agree? Like you are running at certain speed. There's a 8-bit bus, the system. So you are getting certain performance. So you want to increase the performance now. You all know what is the performance, right? You want to increase the performance by twice. So either you increase the clock by twice, right? Or you increase the data bit by twice. Correct? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell. So you want to increase, go for higher speed, so that you can increase the number of bus. But your routability and you get other problems basically. We'll talk going forward, right? So there are always pros and cons, what you call trade-off, right? What you call. So anything we do, we should always do the trade-off and choose the best approach for that particular project. Okay, so that's a bus, right? And what else we spoke? Ethernet, MAC, right? We spoke about SPI. It was one serial interface. You used to talk to EEPROM kind of thing, right? I think I told you to study. There are links given here. I think you should go to those links and study. I talked about CAN, USBs, pulse width modulator controller, right? So all this consists of a system. This is an example for SOC. So you have a processor, you have memories, you have JTAG, you have buses, and you have various IPs. You have peripherals and you have some IPs. So this is a typical example for SOC. That's what somebody asks SOC, you should tell. This is what does SOC consist of? This one. Right? You just put everything, right? So what you call avial, right? You put all the vegetables, it becomes avial, correct? Who likes to eat food, right? You find whatever leftover vegetables you find in the house, you put everything, no, you make a dish out of it, correct? Agree or not? So something similar to that. It contains multiple functionalities. You put everything, whatever you need, you put it there. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Vishnu, you're able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to next slide. This was a design flow. So somebody wants to talk about it? Hello, somebody
Sir,
wants to explain
can you
this?
go a little bit slower?
Yeah, I'll do. Somebody wants to explain about this particular chart. So system on a chip. So it has a hardware, it has a software path. I told we'll ignore the software path for now. We'll talk about the hardware path, right? And so you have architecture. You design the architecture. From the architecture, right? You do a micro architecture, design various IP blocks and everything. Right? You do functional simulation, right? And then you implement in a FPGA or some emulation platform. You verify the functionality. Then I told you you'll do a physical design, right? You do a synthesis. The next slide we'll talk about that. You do a physical design, or you'll do something called a floor planning, placement, routing. I'll talk about that in the coming slides, right? And then you have a prototype and fabrication. Then you told volume, you go to production, volume. I told about volume, right? So this is one. Right? So these are specifications I told, right? What customer gives, you have the requirements based on the two specifications. So you use some generic IP blocks, you design the architecture of the system. From that system architecture, you generate what are the IP blocks we need, you design that. Then you simulate, you integrate that. You do a emulation using FPGA. So don't worry if you don't understand what is FPGA, we'll talk about that. It's something to emulate. Probably I'll tell you in one line. FPGA is something is reprogrammable. Right? ASIC is not reprogrammable. ASIC is one time. If you do any mistake, you have to throw the chip, that's all. So it takes time, it is very expensive, right? FPGA is like a chip, but you can program it. It's like a memory, it's like a RAM. ASIC is like a ROM. Only once you can program. FPGA is like RAM, can program any number of times. Correct? Understand? So it's called field programmable gate array, FPGA. So you can program in the field, you can program any number of times. We will cover all those things later on. So you do a physical design, so you go to physical aspects, you do your layout, and those things are all right. Then you prototype, you fabricate, and then you test it, then you do bulk production. So this is a very high level flow. Any chip, this is called life cycle of the chip. Right? What is the life cycle? You would have read about butterfly life cycle in second standard, third standard, right? Pupa and whatnot, right? Forgot Java, lava, whatever. Lava, I suppose, right? I forgot. In your third or fourth standard, you would have studied all those things, right? It's very similar to that. Right? This is the life cycle of a SOC design flow. So these are various stages of a chip. Did you get some idea? So read, you have to go and see this, man. I'm telling you, right? It's all very cryptic sometimes. See, go and see, you do some Google search, read all these things, then come back and ask questions. So that way only, like, no, the learning will become more effective. It's hard for me to explain. There's so many details are sitting there, right? So definitely we'll cover over a period of weeks. You'll get to understand. Okay, this is very similar but different representation previously. Your customer tells what is the product, what is the requirement, right? You define that, then you write a specification. You do a system level architecture, then chip level architecture, right? Then you do micro architecture is a block level. This is a system level design. This is a micro level, block level design. So you do the micro level architecture. You do a design review. Review, I told what is a review yesterday. What is a review?
Testing or checking whether there are any faults.
Not testing, right? It's reviewing, right? Reviewing is basically somebody comes supervising you to check they'll review your code or whatever work you have done, make sure that everything is correct. Yeah, manual verification, it's called review. What example I can give? I don't know, not think of an example. Let's say in your class, you have assignment, you write some assignment, give it to teacher. She reviews and it's a mark actually, right? It's a review, right? So similar, very similar to that. You do your project, your colleague will come and review that.
Assessing something.
Assessment, very good. It's like review is like assessment, and you giving feedback, you'll do well. It's nothing, it's not like an exam, so it's not that formal assembly college. Nobody is going to grade you based on that. Right? But you'll be graded some. If you do a lot of mistakes, your manager will notice that, then you'll get like dinged for that. Right? When your promotion will come with your increment, everything comes and take care of that. You don't mistakes, right? So review is like, very friendly process. So somebody comes and looks at the thing and will come and give feedback to you what can be done better or can be done in a different way, it has any mistakes or not, right? So it comes with experience, reviewing coming with experience. Right? So you do a coding. I'll talk about what is the RTL later on. You do Verilog. You have Verilog coding. You can integrate the IPs. I told about open course or something. Right? A lot of IPs are available. Either you can buy, you can license, or you can develop like a library and keep it and then use it. Then there are various design reviews. After you do a code level review, this you do a design level review, this you do a code level review. Okay. And here side, after you do system, you can do a modeling, you can do a simulation. So modeling is what? It's not like the fashion modeling, right? It's like something like your behavior modeling. How this is going to work, whether the timer is going to work like a timer, or how the process is going to work, a higher level abstraction, right? That's called modeling. And then you also do some simulations to find out. So after the micro architecture, you do something called verification plan and test plan. What is my test bench is going to like, how am I going to tell if this design is working? What kind of test I am going to write? I tell you an example, right? Well, cooking, you know how your sambar is cooked properly, or how your fried rice is cooked properly, you take sample and eat. Right? Or when you buy a phone, you boot the phone and see your apps are working or not. There's a Wi-Fi is getting on or not. You check it, there's a test plan. So that's a sequence of things what you do to check the test. Right? And the verification review. Then you have to do a review for verification the same way as a design review. And then you build a verification environment to test. Don't worry about all these things. We'll talk in very detail in the next subsequent chapters. So you'll have, like design you are doing, you'll have separate environment. So there you'll code the test benches. You'll go and check like how you connect, right? Let's say you're verifying, you do your lab, right? Let's say what you do is a shift register lab. Then you connect your clock, you connect your oscilloscope, your power supply and everything, right? So test bench will be very similar to that. Okay? Any questions on this slide? Can I move on?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me go to the next slide. Okay. This is about the tools. What are the various tools available? Like I spoke about that, right? And what is the purpose? Right? Tool. I told something called EDA. Do you know what is? You can refer your notes and tell what is EDA. I referred EDA. I referred something called CAD. Right? Two terminology. EDA is electronic design automation. CAD is computer aided design. Right? I told you use the software to design hardware. Correct? Computer aided design, CAD. EDA is electronic design automation. How you automate your design? Right? You cannot do everything manually, so you have to use the automation. Right? That is software. Right? Okay, so I told something called lint. So lint is a structural test. So it looks parses your code, Verilog code, and tells is there any syntax errors, is there any other the naming convention issues. It catches various other policies and everything. Right? There is a structural test. I told you, right? You don't have to run simulations. Just have to write a code. You run through the lint. Quickly, you'll get the feedback. Correct? I told about clock domain crossing yesterday. What is clock domain crossing? Guys, you should answer, man. I'll lose my motivation levels otherwise. You read the books, look at your notes and tell. I don't want you to memorize. That is, look at what you learned yesterday and tell, man. Guys, this is very bad. Hello.
Sir, once I'm
Yes.
checking.
Are you sleeping or are you listening?
Listening, sir.
I have no idea. There's a problem with the online classes. You must be watching some YouTube silently or playing a game. I hope
Not like that, sir.
I'm just joking, man. Don't take it seriously. Right? See, unless I know that you understood something, I'll not be able to proceed forward, right? It'll become waste exercise. Like, it'll become like another college for you, right? I don't want to do that way. So it has to be participative. So show a lot of interest and ask questions. I'll explain. It's okay to go slow. That you can cover less, but whatever you cover, you should understand thoroughly. You take notes. That's what I'm telling you. You type down notes. You put it there. Ask me to review. So you have to do that way, man. There's so much thing to learn. If you really work in that way, it's easy. It'll be cakewalk for you to get a job. Let me tell you that, right? I did an interview today. I don't know. You should have heard me. I spoke to a candidate. He's in Allahabad. He studied. I don't know where is he. He worked in NXP in Noida as an intern. He's a NIT Allahabad MTech. So he worked in NXP on some verification of something. I spoke to him for half an hour this afternoon. I interviewed him about verification related things. Did you hear that, Ishwar? I was talking to somebody, right? Right. So I think you should know. Otherwise, it's very hard. Okay, let me explain clock domain cross. Otherwise, you should tell I don't understand. Explain, man. Please don't hesitate. It's okay to tell I don't know, right? Now rather than later. After another 10 years, if you tell I don't know clock domain crossing, and if you're working on VLSI, it'll be a shame. But if you don't know now, you're happy, you learn. So clock domain crossing, I told you, if any data goes from one clock domain to another clock, you have to do something called synchronization. You have a certain process you have to follow. You cannot just use that in another clock domain, right? It's similar to that, man. Like I sometimes I talk very fast. You may find it difficult to understand, right? So that requires some synchronization. So maybe I had to slow down or convert to certain difficult protocol and communicate, right? So it's similar to that. Or if you talk too slow, also it become very boring. Otherwise, you cannot understand. Right? So there is a certain handshake has to happen for communication to happen, correct? So very similar to that. When data is going from high speed clock to low speed clock, or from one clock to another clock, you have to do something called a clock domain checks. I told about metastability, right? I'll be talking about metastability later on. Right? So that is a clock domain check. You're going from one domain to other domain. Is it clear? I told this one of the important things. If you violate this clock domain, your chips will not even work. However, of verification, it's very difficult to catch in verification. You need a sophisticated tools to catch such issues. Okay. Synthesis converts your Verilog code into gates. Correct? I gave an example. What example I gave yesterday? Forgot. I think I gave a good example. It converts from one format to other format, right? What example I gave? Give some format, for example. It converts your, I think I told you about the counters, right? You can design a counter using your state machine, you can do a state transition table or excitation table, right? What do you call it?
Shift register also.
You can write a Karnaugh map and you can design a counter. You can design a model of 3 counter, 5 counter. You can also write in a simple Verilog code about a counter, right? You would have studied in BSDL or language. You can write, and if you give that synthesizer tool, it will give you the gates automatically. So either you can do a gate level design or you write a code and you can get your gates. Correct? And formal verification is the one which verifies that your RTL and your gate are consistent. They're equivalent, equivalency check. Correct? I told you something called equivalency check yesterday. You are able to recollect now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Each of these boxes will be studying in detail. Low power verification, I'll skip for now. I told you what is the need for low power, what is the leakage, right? That's about the threshold, those things we spoke about a lot of things yesterday. Right? I think somebody should explain Vishnu because he missed, because we can see in the video, yesterday's video also. Should I again explain what is the leakage? High level concepts we'll go as we go further, we'll learn details. Concept level.
Wastage.
Not wastage, not called wastage, it's unwanted thing, yeah. You can call waste also, yeah. Something which, it always keep happening, right? So otherwise your battery will drain. If your leakage is high, your battery will drain. So you have to minimize the leakage. Okay, that's one aspect of the low power. Right? Designed for test, something like your JTAG scan, built-in self-test, I told you, right? When you switch on something, it tests automatically. The BIOS will check your ROM and everything, right? So your memories and all you have to check. There's something called fault. When you fabricate, right? So you would have done your breadboard, you know what is breadboard. Sometimes you connect 2 wires and it goes to VDD and ground. You connect, what will happen? When you connect VDD and ground, what happens? Have you done in the lab? Have anyone, have you done short circuit in any transistor? Have you blown any transistor or diode or anything in the lab? No? You're a good
Yes, sir.
Who's that? Who blew the transistor?
Sir, Shankar Narayan.
Shankar, how did you blow the transistor?
One wire to the ground, another wire to the transistor.
Yeah,
sir.
exactly. Or
Number
give
one.
wrong polarity, then it'll burn actually, right? You see some smoke coming out of it, correct? Have you done? This guy is laughing.
I remember something doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So
The
same
guy-
thing. So fabrication is a process. No, there's a lot of technology, but when you fabricate, again, some node can get stuck to 0. It's not deliberate. When you fabricate, you don't blow the transistor deliberately, or you don't blow an IC deliberately, right? So when you fabricate, there's a lot of lines, wires going on. There are thousands, millions, billions of wires going on, metals or whatever, right? You call metals or wires basically. So the metals may get into contact with 0 or 1, unfortunately, right? If it happens, what happens? It doesn't work. That particular node or that particular gate or flip-flop doesn't work as intended. Then how will you debug? How will you find out where is the problem? So that's for the DFT, stuck fault. You have to find where is the fault. Struck at fault. This is never struck at fault, right? So you scan, you do all these techniques, you do some testing on the memories. If the memory is working correctly or not. Otherwise, if you don't do this, let's say you're running testing your logic functionally, it will not work functionally, right? Then how do you know it's a functional problem or manufacturing problem? Correct? When there are 2 variables, you would have studied in mathematics, 2 or 3 variables. How do you solve that? You have to solve one by one. You cannot solve all the variables at a time, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So you have to first check your design is new, you're checking, it's a design issue, or it may be fabrication issue, or it may be a software issue, it may be any issues when you have a problem, right? So first you have to check if there any fabrication issue. That's the first thing what you check. Is it being fabricated correctly or not? Otherwise you will go mad when you debug the design problems. Right? First your fabrication has to be clean. You certify that using the design for test. Right? You will have a lot of design components sitting there, additional gates, there'll be overhead for you, right? You put more logic to test your design, but that is needed. But that is not a functional logic, remember, that is the additional logic to test the design. right? There will be 10% of, typically it will be 5 to 10% of the gates in the chip will be meant for design for test. So you'll have put additional gates, additional flip-flops in the design to check the functionality of the chip by running some test, running certain patterns or something, right? So that's how you prove your design is manufactured correctly. Once you know that it's manufactured correctly, then you run your functionality. Then you check your shifter is working as shift register, your processor is indeed working as a processor, really is working as a counter or whatever, right? That functional aspect you only can check. Then you find your design mistakes, right? Then software, you can find software mistakes can do. We can check out anything. We are all humans, right? We have errors. So you have to debug and find out and go and fix the errors. So that's a design for test. I think design reviews already told what is that, right? Physical design, I've not told you. I think we'll talk about the coming slide. So physical is anything. Once you convert it into gates, it becomes physical. Right? We call front end and back end. Typically in VLSI or in digital design, this is all front end. It's on the front side, right? It's on design side. Talking about the design, talking about verification, it talks about synthesis and everything. Back end is something. So once you have the gates, or you call them as a net list. So remember the net list. It's a list of nets. Net, you know what is the net? Net is a wire, right? So it tells about connectivity, how the gates are connected, how the flip-flops are connected together. But it's called a net list. Netlist. So you'll hear this term very commonly in the industry. You call net list. When you go to the industry, you will not even understand what this guy hell is talking net list. Right? So this is a net list. The list of nets, how the components are connected together. It's a net list. I'll show you examples. We'll see that. But understand the terminologies, right? So then you do a physical design. Once you have a net list or you have the connectivity, you have to do a floor plan, you have to do the placement, you have to do the routing, then you do something like timing analysis, then you tape out the design. Right? We'll talk all those things in detail. Right? I told you what is a simulation. You have to debug the waveforms. You all see, let's say wave. You know what is a waveform? You have done some simulation, FPGA with simulation in the college, right? You know what is a waveform, right? You all know what is a waveform?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Up
Does
and down.
anyone doesn't know what is a waveform?
Sine waveform.
Yeah, with digital. I'll talk about digital. Let's not talk about analog. We are all talking about digital, man. We're all digital electronics right now, right? So yeah, I agree. Conceptually, it is correct. Clocks, you are also in data sheets. Very important. Many students don't know what is data sheet, man. Do you know what is a data sheet? Doesn't know or
Data
no?
sheet is the different values the particular component will give, or the parameters of the component
Yeah,
will be in
exactly.
the data sheet.
Right. It'll have a lot of parameters. It'll tell you what is the functionality. It'll have some timing diagrams or waveforms. Right. I'll talk about this. People have to know what is a data sheet. Right. I'll tell you about that. We'll talk about it very soon. Right. In the coming days. Right. So waveforms you have to review. You do something called coverage analysis. So coverage is something you should know how your design has been fully tested or not. How will you know? So you do the coverage analysis. You do a code coverage. You do a functional coverage. Right. Otherwise, how do you know your design has been fully tested or not? That's a question. If it is not fully tested, it may have bugs. Correct. So you have to fully test it. You have to really make sure that every line of code what you have written is fully tested. And in the line after there will be branches. They'll have if statement, you have some and condition. So every single piece of line or portions of the line also has to be very thoroughly verified. So there's a structural verification that is called code coverage. There's something called functional coverage. It comes verifies the functionality. So both are important. Correct? You are able to follow what I say? Or should I talk again?
Yes, sir. We're able to follow, sir.
Okay, so coverage is basically to tell whether your design has been fully tested or not tested. Right? Unless you fully test, it is quality, right? It is about quality metrics. Right? So you have to fully test it. So that is called coverage. Right? What is the example of coverage I can give you, man? I don't know what example I can use for coverage. Yeah, I cannot think of example. So it's basically you have to check every single line what you wrote has been fully tested or not. So that is the example I can give. Right? There's something called a code coverage, which is every line of the code, every expression of the code. I think when you do the Verilog, probably I'll explain more, but understand functional coverage is one. See, sometimes what will happen, you said my code coverage is 100%. Does it mean that you have fully tested your design? You have written every single line of code, right? You are saying I have tested all the lines are been working correctly or not. So does it mean your design is fully working?
Sir, whether it's like on a diagram, like in the physics laboratory, we'll do some experiment. We'll just check the connection. If the connection is correct, then the readings will be correct. Like that, it's related, sir.
No, not directly. Yeah, I think I should show some examples, then you'll know. Yeah, it's okay if you don't understand, but remember this, there's something called coverage, right? So see, the code coverage at all, it's going to check every single line of code has been verified or not. That's code coverage. So functional coverage is very different, right? So what if you have not coded certain functionality in the design? So your specification says you should have so many registers, but you have implemented certain registers, right? So, but whatever your code, let's say your code coverage says you are 100%. But what if you have missed coding certain functionality? Right? You have not implemented certain things, certain functionality you are not coded. So it will not be fully verified. So you cannot just say your design is fully verified just with the code coverage. You should have functional coverage. So all the functionalities has to be fully verified also, along with the code coverage. Then only you certify that I have fully verified. So then only the chip can tape out. Right? These are called matrices. We'll talk about it in detail. In the next 1-2 months, you'll probably learn all these things details. So don't worry, just understand the concepts. Just do a Google search and understand what is code coverage, what is functional coverage. So at a high level you understand. Read and come back, then if you don't understand, I can easily explain. Because I don't have a slide to talk. Probably otherwise I have to prepare and show it to you, right? Understand what is code coverage, very high level, understand at English level, at macro level, understand what is the code coverage, what is the functional coverage. That is enough for this slide. I told what is the FPGA, right? You all remember the previous slide, field programmable gate array. I told you can program it any number of times. So use that thing to verify. You can verify the run in design in real time. Simulations will run very slow. It's like a computer running on a computer, right? It will be very slow. But you run in FPGA, it will run very fast. Because all the it's getting implemented in the real chip. You can go to the lab and test it. It's not a software, it's a real hardware test. Right? So
Sir,
gate
in
level,
Google
yeah.
it has been said, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, in Google it has said that code coverage is a measurement of how many lines, blocks, or arcs of your code are executed while the
Exactly.
automated test happens.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. That's what I told you. I was trying to tell. But I didn't use the same words as Google says, but that's the right definition. Now you understand what is code coverage.
Yes, sir.
Up to some high level, no, you don't understand. Somebody says screenshot, that is click. What is that? The context has to be there. That's what I'm trying to set the context. Okay. So gate level simulation is
Yes,
very
sir.
different.
Yes, sir.
Right? So this simulation, what you do is at very log level, at a higher level of abstraction. So this gate level simulation is at the actually gate level. After you do synthesis, it becomes like a netlist. I told you, right? It has a connectivity of gates. So you have to run your same simulation again on the netlist and verify that the same test is passing again or not. Again, it is more quality levels because your synthesis tool would have done mistake. Then your timing comes into picture and everything, right? So only that much you understand. There are more levels of simulations to be done in the chip design process. Right? So RTL simulation is something which runs at Verilog level, right? At behavioral level. This is running at the gates and wires level after synthesis. Understand? Because synthesis it will converts your Verilog into gates and netlist. Correct? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Sir,
please.
you're audible, sir.
Please, yeah, please feedback. You understand? You have asked something. Please feedback.
Yes, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Then you do verification review. Yeah, you do pre-silicon validation, post-silicon validation, everything. Right? Probably we'll talk about those. So validation is something basically running in your lab to check all your tests are passing. Either before the silicon, this is before the tape out, right? You do a lot of validation. You run the same test as you will run after the chip is fabricated, right? You'll run the same test to find out that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let's talk about the thing. I think yesterday we didn't talk. Let's talk about this little bit, right? Probably we can stop. It's 1 hour. I think it's too much of information, I suppose, right? So physical design. So floor plan. What is a floor plan in English? What do you mean by floor plan?
The base plan.
Your base plan. Have you all seen a floor plan for a house? Let's say somebody is buying a house. You're constructing a house. You show a sketch. This is where my hall. This is where my bedroom. This is where is my kitchen. These are the toilets will come. There's a
Yes, sir.
diagram. Have you seen?
Yeah.
So that is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a diagram or an object like a real house, sir.
yeah. So you are constructing your own house. Flats you will not have thing. Whatever the builder gives, you have to go and take that. But you are constructing your own house. You can change where your bedroom comes, where your toilet comes. You can change them, right? You have the flexibility to do it, right? So same way.
Like a module, uh,
Hmm?
like a mini project they will show, sir. Like that. Am I right, sir?
What mini project?
A floor plan, sir. Floor plan.
No, no, no. Floor plan is the way. So I'll give a house example. We are constructing a new house. In the beginning, when you're on your own, you are. It's not a flat. I'm talking about the house. You are conducting independent house, right? You buy a ground and then you go and then you get approval, right? You have to put where is my hall coming up. When you enter first, what comes? You get a veranda or what? You get a car parking. Then you get your hall. Then you get your kitchen somewhere. You get your bedroom. You get your study room somewhere. You get a puja room somewhere, right? You get your bathroom somewhere. You get your storeroom somewhere, right? You get your service area somewhere, right? So how do you put that? How do you use the space efficiently? You may have a 1,000 square feet of land. So you have to be very efficient to arrange that particular fashion to be very optimal efficient. Still, you have to comply by Vastu and all, right? You all know what is Vastu, correct? You all know what is Vastu?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So if you believe in that, it is that. If you don't believe, that is fine. Right? So Vastu is basically a science. It tells basically where your kitchen has to be located. Kitchen says it will be in southeast corner, you say, right? So your puja room has to be in certain way. Your master bedroom has to be in certain direction. So that's science basically. So you have to follow that for certain reasons, right? So like that, when you do floor planning, there are various. You have processor, you have memory, you have certain controller, you have bus, and you have Ethernet MAC. You saw the block diagram, right? There are so many components. So where do you put those components in the chip? Chip is like a whatever the chip size is, a 5 millimeter chip or whatever, right? So where do you put those components? Where do you put the processor? The right side you put in the top, you put in the bottom, you put in the center, right? There are so many places where you can put the processor, correct? Where do you put the memory? You cannot put a processor somewhere, you cannot put the memory somewhere because processor and memory has to work together, correct? So if you put in the corner, your speed will become very slow. So it has to be close as possible, right? So like that. So that is called floor planning. Arranging your various blocks in certain fashion. It's called floor plan. Understand?
Yes, sir.
If somebody doesn't understand, please let me know. Raja, do you understand? Hello, Raja, sleeping? I think he slept.
Raja is not in the call, sir.
He's not in the call. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think probably I should do attendance. Who's there? Who's not there? Okay. That is, I'll be just talk. Anyway, fine. If it doesn't attend, that's okay. All right. So yeah, does everyone understand what is the floor plan? At least you got the
Yes,
concept,
sir.
right? Yeah, you got the concept. What is the floor plan? Then there is something called a placement, right? So placement is a process where the tool will place the gauge automatically, right? Floor plan is a little bit manual. Placement, you can do a little bit of manual, but mostly the tool will do automatically, right? So how the gates, flip flops are placed within the particular area, within the floor plan. You have a box, that's a processor. Within that particular processor box, I think I have to show let me draw a thing and show. Right, so let's say your chip is like this. What happened? So this is a chip, right? So this is your chip bounding box, B box, what we call, right? This 2 mm, 2 by 2 mm, let's assume, right? And you put your processor here, you put your memory here, the Ethernet MAC is here, let's assume, because the Ethernet interface will be here in this side of the chip, right? So Ethernet MAC will sit. You cannot put the Ethernet MAC somewhere. Your pins, something called pins or pad actually, right? So wherever the interface is coming, that particular block has to sit next to that. Correct? Make sense? Right. So for example, right, when God, let's assume there's somebody called God, he creates your human being. So mouth he has to keep close to where your hand. You cannot keep the mouth close to your leg actually, right? Then how do you put the foot there? Correct? And wherever waste has to go out from the body, you cannot keep it close to the mouth. It has to be away from the mouth. What happens if wherever your excretion happens, body has to be close to the mouth? Can you imagine? Right? You can't even imagine that, right? So it has to be in certain places for certain reasons. Sometimes it has to be close, sometimes it has to be far away. Very similar to that, right? So some blocks has to be close to the pin, something has to be close to something, right? So that is floor planning. Then within that box, so it'll have a lot of, let's say the CPU has 1000 registers and 5000 gates, let's assume. So where the how the gates has to be placed, how the flip-flops has to be placed, right? So that is called placement. Correct? Understand? The process
Yes,
by
sir.
which the gates and flip-flops are arranged by the tool automatically in certain way inside the particular block is called placement. It's placing certain things in somewhere, right? We have something called placement still in the college. They place you in certain companies, right? Based on your interview and based on how you well, or based on your marks and whatever, right? It's called placement. Very similar to that. You place that in some particular place, you won't put it there. That's called placement. You make it sit. For example, right? You have classroom. You have 30 chairs. Good example. You have 30 chairs in the class. So you make everyone sit in certain place, right? If somebody is talking very loudly, disturbing the class, you put them in far away place, right? Correct? Your teacher does that or not? Some very naughty people always, you go to backbench, they will tell, right?
Yep.
Right? Very similar to that, right? So
Yes, sir.
you sit certain people in certain way, certain chairs. So assume there are certain charge kind of things in the block, certain position. So all the gates go and sit in that position. I think that's a good example. The students sitting in the chairs in a class of 30 or 50 or 60 classrooms, right? You have only 60 chairs, only 60 people can sit, 70 people cannot sit. So like that, every box has certain space. Within that space, you have to put all the gates and flip-flops. So that is placement. Correct? So we saw what is floor plan, we saw what is placement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, clock tree. What is a clock tree? No, you all know what is a clock. I'll just stop with the clock tree. I think we have to repeat the same thing again tomorrow because all the people are not there. You all know what is a clock, right? So let's talk this block. I'll draw this block in a slightly bigger way now. So this is a block and these are the flip-flops. Assume, sorry, like no, my drawing is so bad. This is not a flip-flop, doesn't look like a flip-flop, but assume there are 6 flip-flops in this block, right? So everything will have a clock. So all the clocks has to be connected in certain way. Right? Correct? Every flip will have a clock and all the clocks has to be connected in certain way. Right? So that is called clock tree. It's like a tree because one clock goes to multiple places. Fan out, you know what is a fan out, right? All of you know what is a fan out, fan in? Oh man, it's very bad. Why they didn't teach? Pawan, do you know what is fan in and fan out? Pawan, are you there? Is Pawan there in the call? How do you check when we're on the meeting? I don't know.
No,
I think
sir,
Pawan,
he is not there.
Pawan is not there. Okay.
It's not there, sir.
Yeah. So fan is one wire going to multiple inputs. It's called fan in. Right? It's fanning in the multiple. One output is going to multiple inputs. That's called fan
Sir,
in.
Pawan it shows that Pawan is in, but it's not here talking, sir.
Pardon?
It shows that Pawan is on the call, but he doesn't respond, sir.
Yeah, no, but he's on mute or something. It's okay. Right? So fan out is one net going to multiple places. One output is going to multiple inputs. So that's fan in. Fan out rather. Fan out. Right? So like that, the clocks will have multiple fan outs. It will go to multiple places. So it has so many load. You know what is a load, right? Load, capacitance, all you have heard, right? Load is where it's going to drive to multiple places. That is called a load. Right? So then you have to design that in certain way so that the information goes at almost simultaneous to all the clocks has to reach almost at the same time to all the flip-flops. It cannot go late to one place, it cannot go early to one place. Almost same time it has to reach to all the flip-flops. Correct or not? For the proper operation. Correct? Let me show in terms of timing diagram, right? So it's a first flip-flop, right? In one corner it gets a clock like this. So what happens if the clock gets delayed in some other flip-flop like this? It's very difficult, right? It will not work, correct? Agreed? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the clocks has to
Yep.
match close by. It has to come very close for a proper operation, correct? It has to match. So the flip-flop here and the flip-flop here should get clocks at the same time. It cannot differ by so long, right? There's a huge delay here. So we call that as a skew. Probably you'll learn that. I'll teach you about clock skew later on. You have to remember the term skew. What is a skew in English? This is skewed, you say, right? What is skew? I think you all study in English medium should tell. What is a skew? SKEW. E. Skew. What is skew?
Sir, neither parallel nor at right angles.
Yeah, it's kind of okay. Yeah, skew is basically it's a lot of difference between that. So it's skewed, right? It's a, right? Sometimes your, I think one example what I can tell, your teacher gives somebody, two students write the same way answers, but teacher gives but more marks to one guy and but less marks to other guy. It's skewed, right? It's very skewed. It's very different. You can look at the dictionary and find out what is a skew, man. Look at the Wikipedia. Do a Google search.
It says that in Google to affects facts or information so that they are not accurate.
What is that? Can you read again?
In the Google, it says that the meaning of the skew is to affect facts
Ah.
or information
Yeah, exactly.
that they are not.
Yeah, skewed. You say reporters are skewed. Like some TV reports, most of fake news comes, right? The skewed. You say, right? Some for getting the public attention, they'll say, oh yeah, like, or yeah, that kind of thing. Right? Some fake news will come, right? The skew that doesn't give. That's not reality, but they show like a reality, right? The skew. So there is some distance between the truth and reality, right? That's like that.
Yes, sir. I can understand, sir, now.
Yeah, so that is a skew, right? So clock skew, there's something called clock skew. So you have to control the clock skew. So the clock tree synthesis will do the routing of the clocks. Routing is basically, what is routing? What is a route? You know what is bus route, you know, right? It goes a certain direction. That's route. I mean, you can look at the English dictionary. What is a route? You can look at route is direction which something has to travel, correct? Path. Yeah, route is a good path, right? So how the path, which path the clocks need to reach the flip-flops is a route. So the any wires, you have to route it basically, right? So that clock, the signal goes to the particular route. So clock will have to go through that particular route and reach all the flip-flops. So it's called clock routing. Right? We have clock routing here, we have signal routing, is called this routing. So clock routing, it's called, or they have put a lot of buffers. You know what is a buffer, right? What is a buffer? What is a buffer, man?
Input is equal to output.
Input equal to output, very good. And it also increases the drive. Where to use buffer? You know what is the drive strength? I think Pawan should teach us. We are missing Pawan. Somebody knows digital. What is the buffer strength? Drive strength. Oh man.
Sir, normally buffer refers to an extra like that, sir.
Correct. So okay, let me tell you this way. Drive strength. See, okay, let me give an example like this. You are driving a cycle. You are going for 10 kilometers. You have to go. You are going in certain speed. You
Yes,
go.
sir.
After some time, you'll become tired. You have to take a break,
Yes,
or you
sir.
take some energy, glucose, some energizer. Then you get energy. Then you run, right? So when signal is traveling for a certain distance, the signal becomes weak. Agreed or not? Then you have to buffer. You
Yes, sir.
get more energy. You buffer it.
Yes.
Right? The signal shape will get distorted. Basically, that's what will happen. Right? Then you put a buffer there. The signal, you will get a proper signal shape again. The digital signal is three analog signal. Let's say, I'll give you an example, right? So this is a perfect square wave. After it travels few millimeters, it will become like this. Like this, right? The shape will be distorted. So if you put a buffer, then it will come very close to that shape again. Correct?
Yes, sir. To continue the work without any distraction.
Yeah. Distortion should not happen. So you buffer the component. So you get it. That's called buffering. So the clock tree synthesis will have a lot of buffers to make sure that, because clock has to be in good shape, 50%. Do you know what is the duty cycle, right? You don't know what is duty cycle? Oh man. Then I have a lot of work to do. Okay, anyway, I'll teach all these things later on, all the concepts. So duty cycle is basically on time and off time. Right? 50% duty cycle means on time is equal to off time. That is called duty cycle. Correct or not? Did you study? Forgot. Okay. So duty cycle is, this is a period. You know what is a period, right? This is a period. Right? So on time plus off time is period. So duty cycle is this one. How much time it is on, how much time it is off. So 50% duty cycle is, right? So on time equal to off time is 50% duty cycle. Right? I think let's stop here. It's too much of information, right? Guys, any questions? I'm sure you have a lot of questions, man. You are not understood. Guys, please don't be shy. I think let's cover this tomorrow again. Yeah, we'll walk through this. But definitely, you should get doubts. If you say I don't get doubts, I'll be surprised actually. Okay. Anyway, guys. So what time we'll meet tomorrow? Tuesday and Thursday are regular classes, right? So 3 o'clock works. We'll meet at 3 o'clock again tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 3 to 4 we'll have class tomorrow. I'll upload this recording. So the Skype worked out well,
Sure,
right?
sir.
It's audible to everybody. Everybody is able to see. Right? We didn't have any break in between because of Zoom kind of issues, right? Right. So
No, sir. Not like that.
yeah, let's use the Skype itself then tomorrow onwards, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay then. Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.